Hi everybody, and happy Wellness Wednesday. I'm back today. I know I just made a video yesterday sharing the 6th P of personal power. I thought about it. I realized I had made you wait so long to get to number 6 that I would just wrap things up today sharing number 7. So here I am today to share the 7th P of personal power as I see it. Because I went through yesterday and described the first 6, I won't do that again. I will just quickly list them so they're fresh on your mind as we talk about number 7 today. So number 1, the first P of personal power as I see it was purpose. Number 2 is plan. Number 3, passion. Number 4 is practice. Number 5 was present or being, staying present. And number 6 was pain and that relationship we have with pain. And today, I actually have 2 P words for the 7th P. I'm not quite sure how I'll work that into my outline if I move forward with producing this work, but it's positive or positivity and thinking about how you will prevail in the end. The first thing I want to share about today is the Stockdale Paradox. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this. It is dedicated or titled because of Admiral Jim Stockdale. He was in the Vietnam War. He was held captive for over 8 years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam, and he was tortured more than 20 times during that time period. Pretty brutal, atrocious, horrific stuff. But what Stockdale observed during those 8 years was something very interesting. And it was about who had the ability to be successful and to prevail and ultimately stay alive so that they ultimately were released and sent back into society versus who didn't make it and who perished. And what Stockdale observed is that it was not the optimists, as we might have thought, that made it. The ones that said, okay, I'll be out by Thanksgiving. Okay, maybe Christmas. Okay, maybe this will be over by summertime. Those individuals either died of broken hearts or they just weren't able to keep themselves alive. They were clinging on to the hope of this will be over soon. This is almost going to be done and we're going to make it. And after a while, because that wasn't what was happening, they just weren't able to persist. And then there was this other group of people that lost hope. They recognized how bleak and how dire and how awful what was going on around them really was, and they focused on it. They became very negative, very sad, very helpless, very withdrawn of like, it just is what it is, and this is awful, and it's over. And neither of those individuals were the ones that were successful. The people that Stockdale observed were the most successful were those that were able to confront the brutal facts and realities of the current situation, but also hung on to the faith and the hope that they would prevail in the end. And what Stockdale said in interviews with Jim Collins as they talked about this experience in Jim Collins' book, Good to Great and also Great by Choice, was that if you can not confuse these two things, the brutal facts and the where I am today and how tough that may or may not be, with the faith of, but I'm going to figure this out and this is going to work, then you have the most success. Today, for just the purposes of this discussion, I'm going to focus on the half of it about positivity and knowing that you'll prevail in the end. We'll also probably talk a little bit about the brutal facts, but let me kind of explain how this works. We've talked throughout all of these other P's about how hard it's going to get to change your life or to create new success or to do things you haven't done before. Those are the brutal facts as I see it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable. You're going to have mistakes. You're going to have pain. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have moments where your subconscious mind fights you. But ultimately, one of the things that's going to help you be successful is knowing that in the end, you're going to figure it out. You are going to prevail. You are going to win. You have to believe that before anybody else can believe it. If you don't believe it, nobody else will be able to believe it. You have to know that you are worthy and capable and determined and talented enough to do whatever it is that you're wanting to do. One of my favorite Henry Ford quotes, and I've talked about this quote before in other videos, is whether you think you can or think you can't, Either way, you're right. And this is all about self-fulfilling prophecies. When we believe in ourselves and we know that we've got what it takes and the grit and the guts to master something and go all the way, even when it's hard, even when it's painful, even when we're not getting positive feedback that we're having success or we're doing well, even when doubters and haters question us and begin to judge us, even when maybe some of our closest friends pull away because we've changed or altered something, when we've got all of that going on and we can still say, this is the path and this is the course and I know it's right, I'm open to hearing tough feedback. I ask, people and my doubters for criticism to help me get better and stronger. I can take bad days and tough moments, but I am going to do this. I am going to win. Then something absolutely spectacular can happen for us. When we don't hang on to that positivity, even during tough times, when we don't find the good in the bad, when we don't find the bless in the mess or the stress, we don't have the stamina to continue. We've got to be able to say, even when it's raining and windy and cloudy and awful and we broke our leg and we found out that we have an illness that we're going to have to fight through, or someone isn't doing what we want, even when all of these awful things are happening to us, we've still got to maintain positivity of it's not a bad life, it might just be a bad day, or this isn't fatal or final, it's just where I'm at in the moment. We've got to find a way to believe in ourselves, to feel good about something, and to maintain, again, that belief of I am going to prevail, I am going to win. When we can't do that, we just simply won't have enough grit and love and tenacity to get through these moments that are really, really hard. I'll share with you guys very quickly that starting my own business a few months ago has been hard. It's been very challenging. I've taken on a few clients. Those of you that are watching this know who you are, and thank you for your work with me already and the partnership. I've been editing my book, which I've finished. Just writing the book was a very tough thing, but now editing it, it's taking me 2 or 3 times as long to edit as it did to write it. I'm working so hard to make sure my website is just perfect for all of you. I've been talking to some prospective clients and organizations that I want to help and ultimately make a difference in. And none of that has come easily to me. A lot of very uncomfortable moments. I've gotten some rejection, but I believe in myself. I know that I'm going to figure this out and do this. And those of you that have already started work with me believe in me as well. That's been wonderful. And again, thank you for that. But ultimately, in the end, this is challenging. This is tough. It's probably as tough, if not tougher, than I thought it was going to be. But the big thing that gets me up each and every morning, and the last thing I say to myself before I go to bed, is that I believe in myself and that I know I am capable and worthy for this. And that doesn't change just because we're having some hard days. You've got to know the same thing. If you've decided what you want out of life, again, that purpose statement. If you have love for it, again, that passion. If you're making plans to do it and making new behaviors and commitments and habits, and you're having some pain as you do that, and sometimes struggling to stay present, and going through all of this journey that you're on, this progression that you're in, you've got to be willing to overall stay positive, stay true to yourself, and know that you're going to prevail. If you do that, along with all these other habits, you're going to be highly successful. So soon we'll talk about, again, how all the habits interrelate, how they have interplay with each other. But again, stay positive, know that you're going to prevail, and there is no doubt that you will. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all very soon.